Let's talk about Gladiator 2. So we're going to be giving our thoughts and a score to this with no spoilers at first, and then we will give a spoiler warning and get into the spoilers and our thoughts, what worked, what didn't work in this movie. So Alex, if you want to start and give us your score on Gladiator 2.
Sure. So I enjoyed this film. I didn't love it. Honestly, I think this was very average. I enjoyed it while I was watching it, but the more and more I thought about it afterwards, the more and more I realized I didn't enjoy it as much as I did. So I would give this a 5 out of 10 on our scale. That's average, like the definition of average. And I feel like that's what this movie is. I don't think it's great at all, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's just there. So, that's kind of a quickie until we get into spoilers. But I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I had a similar thought. I think I liked it a little more than you, maybe. I had a lot of fun watching the movie. I thought it had some good action scenes and a couple of one specifically really good performance. I wish some of the action scenes could have been longer. Some of them felt like too short, but I guess that's a good thing. I wanted more of it. So the plot's a little weird in this movie. The pacing, like the last part of the movie, felt like blindingly fast.
It was the finale was like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
literally 15 minutes.
It felt like there were so many like cut scenes or something. Like it felt like it was missing something.
That was one of my negatives. Is it felt very disjointed, the scenes. Like there'd be some serious scene, like they're kind of in the middle of a conversation, boom, it cuts away to something else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like the editing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and I also feel like there might have just been too many characters it tried to focus on. Like if you compare it to the original Gladiator, we had a lot of time with just Maximus, and we really got to like learn about him and feel for him. And this, there's just so many characters, it's hard to get that same thing. So I think the action and some of the performances elevated it a little above average. I gave it a 6 because I enjoyed it, but it definitely did have some issues, and it's not the original Gladiator, that's for sure.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, like I said, during the movie, I was probably thinking, this is like a 6-ish. Before the movie, I was like, man, I'm so excited. This has to be a 7. I love the first Gladiator. But yeah, I don't know, man. Just the pacing and the characters are okay, but kind of bland. I mean, with the exception of 1 or 2, which I'm sure we'll agree on. But even then, I don't know. It just was this movie's just kind of there. Like, I don't know if I would ever watch it again.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's kind of just there to me. Like, it was okay.
I'm definitely not rewatching it as much as the original, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, the original. Oh, for sure, yeah. But like you said, there is quite a bit of characters, so it's kind of harder to get into the characters. But there's also like a point in the middle of the movie, which I won't spoil, where like a character all of a sudden flips, and I didn't see a reason. Like it was just so random. Like this whole movie, this character wanted revenge, and all of a sudden, like I don't know, which we'll talk about that.
I agree. There's a couple of things where characters make choices or change how they're feeling, and it feels like we missed something. Maybe there was a scene cut or something, and there'll be a longer version that would make it more make sense.
Oh, he already said there is. Ridley Scott already says there'll be a director's cut or whatever.
That's his thing, I feel like.
Yeah, him and Zack Snyder, right?
Zack Snyder, yeah. Definitely.
So I think some of the character motivations or character switches are kind of weird. The characters to me are kind of I mean, it looks good, but at the same time, like it doesn't look amazing. Like I wasn't like amazed by the visuals or anything.
Yeah, that's true. It was good. It was good enough, but nothing like blew me out of the water.
Yeah, it's not like, wow, this is freaking awesome. Mm-hmm. And then also, like you said, the action, like it felt short. Like it didn't feel grand. There was something about it to me that where it didn't feel grand. It just felt short, and I think it was part of the editing because there's like no build up almost to these.
True, yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking here, but yeah, it was average. Not terrible, but not great.
Yeah, enjoyable, but for me, yeah, like you said, it's not like one of the best movies of all time. I'm probably not going to go back and rewatch it a ton.
Yeah, but let's talk about spoilers so we can kind of get into the nitty gritty.
So, spoiler alert for Gladiator 2. So, if you have not seen it, beware.
Beware, or be square. So, that flip I'm talking about in the middle of the movie, this whole movie, Lucius, or I guess whatever they call him, Patel, or what do they call him?
Hanu or something?
He's like Maximus's son. But anyways, he's I mean, understandably, right? He hates Pedro Pascal's character, General Acarus, I think his name is.
Acacius, yeah.
Acacius. So he's like the general for the Romans, and they go around and conquer towns and cities and stuff for the Romans. Anyways, at the very beginning of the movie, right, he conquers Lucius's town, and like he kills his wife, right? So the whole motivation was he wants revenge. Like, I'll work for you in the gladiator crap, but I want revenge. The whole movie. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the movie, he finally gets a chance to fight. And just because Lucius says, I would have died for your father, that erases, and he glances over at his mother and stuff, that erases him, like, killing your wife and all that, randomly, the whole movie.
Yeah.
There's not one little set of sympathy. He didn't have one little thing of sympathy for him until that one scene.
Yeah, that was weird. And there's a couple other, like, there's another part where he's talking to his mother, Lucius is, and he's, like, yelling at her to get out. And then the next time he sees her, they're, like, all okay, and he, like, loves her. And yeah, there were just some really weird instant switches in their motivations and
you
how
don't
they
see
feel.
the build-up, or you don't get, like, hints or build-up or foreshadowing or anything. It just happens.
Yeah, and even his, like, revenge, the feeling of revenge, it didn't hit quite the same as, like, Maximus's does in the original, because, like, I mean, his wife died in a battle and she was fighting, and, like, Acacius didn't actually kill her, he just was leading the people that did. And
he just ordered them to soldiers to shoot an arrow at her or whatever.
It's not like the original where his wife was super innocent and just taken, and it was so horrible.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it was like in battle, like in the main Pedro Pascal's character, Acacius. So his character, let's talk about him too. His character conflicted me. I don't want to say it was miscast or anything, but like it just felt, I don't necessarily understand his character. I mean,
I don't think it was his fault. I just don't really know what the purpose. Like, there's just so many characters that I don't know why we needed to focus on him as much. Or if we did, we needed more of a reason to focus on him. Because, like, what's her name? Lucius's mom sends Acacius.
Lucilla or whatever.
Yeah, Lucilia or something, yeah. She, like, sends Acacius to go break Lucius out of prison, and that ruins the whole, like, overthrow of the emperors.
The whole plot break.
Yeah. But, like, she went there several times. Why couldn't she have let him out during that time? I don't know. It's just, the plot is
like
very
handed him a
strange.
key or something, slipped him something to help him get out, or they could have made it more sneaky, because that was the whole, I don't know, is it the subplot or the main plot? It's the main plot, I feel like it's the Gladiator stuff, right? But like the subplot was they have like the underground with the senators, the underground council type thing where they're plotting to overthrow the twin emperors. Hence why the mom, or Lucille, is like, you saved my son, we're gonna throw them, we're gonna overtake them anyways, we're planning on doing it this day, yada yada yada. And yeah, that plan's straight up ruined. It's ruined because of what's his face. There's a character we haven't talked about, Denzel Washington's character, Macrinus, yeah. So how did you feel about that character?
I thought Denzel was amazing in this movie. I thought he was the best actor in the movie for sure. He just seemed like he was having a good time with it, and it seemed like everyone else was like really wooden and was just kind of like reading the script, but he was just like getting into the character, being whatever the character needed to be. Some scenes he was like very deferential to the kings, others he was like really aloof, and I thought that character was really interesting.
He was so good, he almost felt out of place compared to everyone else.
Yeah, kind of.
Like seriously, like everyone else is so wooden and stoic and this and that, and he's just the opposite. But I liked him too. I thought his character was interesting. I didn't expect the character to go like in that direction, because I was trying to guess what role his character was going to take in the first half of the movie. Like I wasn't sure if he was going to like be good and overthrow the emperors with Cecile, not the way he did. But no, it was the complete opposite. I
thought it could have been a really cool, if we focused on it more, like the idea of this slave who then became a gladiator, who then rose up and kept rising up to then overthrow all of Rome. Like that's a really interesting plot point, but there's just so much going on, we couldn't really focus on it. There's a lot of interesting ideas, but there's almost too many. And then they went with probably the lesser interesting one of Lucius being Maximus's son.
Yeah, which, I mean, I didn't really watch much trailers, so like to me it was gonna be obvious. I don't know if they made it up. I don't know if they spoiled that in the trailers or not.
I don't know either. I didn't really pay attention to the trailers.
But to me, like I kind of knew, like it's kind of obvious. How did you feel about the emperors? So Joseph Quinn played Emperor Gaeta, which he's the Stranger Things guy. I don't know if you watch Stranger Things.
Yeah, he's like a chameleon, man. He looks different in every role he's in.
He seriously does.
And I really like him as an actor, but the Emperors were interesting, I guess, but I also...
But they weren't like...
Well, first of all, they're nowhere near as good as the original Gladiator Emperor.
Joaquin Phoenix,
just iconic.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't like there was one point where Joseph Quinn's character says like, oh yeah, my brother, his basically syphilis is getting to his brain, and it's like, well, he kind of seems like a child, and I didn't really get that, and like they have to tell us this. It feels like we're missing something again.
Yep.
The plot was definitely all over the place.
I will say, man, that ending where Denzel's character like convinces him to kill him, and
yes,
Joseph Quinn is like, help me, and he just slits his throat. Like, I'm like, holy crap, where did this come from?
Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, the movie was violent, but my lord, that was like out of the left field. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah. And then the scene right after that where he brings his head into the Senate, that was a good scene too.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like staring at, making the head stare at all the senators and going on his diatribe.
He's like turning the head when he's talking. And
man, Denzel
did do great in this movie.
He was so good in this movie.
He did great. I enjoyed his character. How did you feel about who played Lucius? Paul Mescal. Mescal. How did you feel about that actor?
I feel like he could have been good. My problem with Lucius is at one point in the movie, it's just like a given that he's like the leader of the gladiators. Mm-hmm. And again, I didn't feel that way. He had like one battle, maybe two, and they had like one scene where they all kind of just like laughed together, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess that builds enough camaraderie for him to be the leader of all of them.
Yeah, I didn't see. Yeah, that is true. I didn't think about that. There's no build up to him like earning trust from everybody.
Yeah, I feel like he could have been good, and he's probably a good actor, but I don't know if this is... I don't know. I feel like because it's Maximus's son, halfway through the movie, they're just like, oh, he needs to just be like Maximus, kind of. Like, I feel like he had some hints of differences, and then it kind of just all went away, and it was just like Maximus 2.0. And it's so hard to be better than Russell Crowe at that. Like, I don't know why they went that way.
They should have, in my opinion, I don't... Well, number one, I mean, maybe there should have never been a sequel to begin with. But let's just say, like, who cares? There's a sequel. They should have done something different, like you said. Maybe like kind of what you said, or it felt too by the books. At least the first half.
It kind of felt like a reboot, like The Force Awakens, where they kind of just do the same thing again, but not as good.
And also, so the ending to me was pretty anticlimactic. First of all, like you mentioned, like literally all that crap with the Empress dying and battle and, the last gladiator scene, it's all like literally 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. Like, I looked at my clock, so I'm like, wait, isn't this... Like, I've been watching it for 2 hours. Isn't this only like 2 hours and 20 minutes or something? So the ending, to me, was disappointing. And also, I hate this. I hate when they do this in movies, and they did this in the... Rings of Power show too. I hate when they show just an army about ready to fight and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
I get the point what they're trying to do, like he's trying to make both armies believe in him and we're not enemies, yada yada yada. But why do you show such epicness and you get nothing? You get you get a tease of it. It's like this is so vulgar. It's like blue balls, bro. It's like you get a tease of all the armies about to fight. Yeah, we're getting a big action scene and nothing. And I know that's not the point, yada yada. I don't care. I am not entertained.
It is funny that like you have like 10,000 people surrounding these two and they're just like standing and he's giving a speech and it's like, how many of these people are actually able to hear him and they're all just standing there like, are we gonna fight? What's going on?
Sitting in the background like, what are they talking about? Should we be moving?
Yeah.
And would everyone, and I think why I hate these scenes is, would everyone really be on board with this? Come on, there's 10,000 people. There has to be 100 people that disagree and will just shoot an arrow or something. I don't know.
I get that. I think they're more
you follow your leader or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know. It was just like the fight between them was pretty graphic and entertaining. But I don't know. I just hate when movies or shows show big armies and you're all hyped up, ready to go, and like you don't get that. Like, what's the point of showing it? They could have done that in like the Colosseum or something, That's true. That's just I'm just nitpicking now, but yeah, I mean, what about positives?
Yeah, so
we settle on negatives.
I thought the scene where, despite how like unrealistic it is, where they filled the Colosseum with water and brought the sharks in, like I really wish that was longer because that was a really cool scene, really cool idea, and it looked good. It was over very quickly.
Yeah. I agree. I thought it looked great too, and it was interesting.
Also, I feel like they like had a plan, and it would have been really interesting to see them like figure out that plan because they were like going after the oars and trying to like they they knew what they were doing, but we didn't see any of that, and all we got was them like rowing before we knew that there was going to be a boat. And also in that rowing scene, why did that guy get upset with him and make him row by himself? Just because he said like one throwaway comment? I didn't really understand that.
Yeah, he just said something like, we're not going to get it with this power. He said something.
Said we're not going to get very far like this or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the guy, the character that like trains them.
Yeah.
I don't understand his character too, because I thought they were starting to get buddy, but then he goes and like slits his throat and kills him. I don't know. He wasn't really a character, I guess, but I didn't understand that relationship.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
But yeah, I agree that shark Coliseum scene was good. I thought the scene with Pedro Pascal's character and Lucius was pretty good, despite the sudden change of heart randomly for, the adult's rage from someone that killed your wife or ordered someone to kill your wife. Any scene with Denzel was interesting.
Yes, definitely.
Even Denzel's mannerisms, like he went all in with this role, because even the way he was like, adjusting his robes and like everything he did in this movie, I thought was great. And seeing him kind of go a little psycho towards the end, well, not psycho, but like.
Oh yeah, I would say he went psycho.
Oh yeah, but like when Joseph Quinn's like, "Help me," and you just see him go over there and like slit his throat and cut his head. I'm like, jeez. Yeah, that was interesting. I do wish we saw more of scenes with like the emperors, because I feel like we didn't see much with them.
Yeah, and I feel like Joseph Quinn could have done a good job with that role, because from what I've seen, he's a really good actor. Yeah,
he was great in Stranger Things. He was in something else I watched too.
The Quiet Place. Yeah,
Quiet Place. He was great, and that was totally different like style than Stranger Things or this. You're right; they're all kind of different.
Yeah. I feel like I've never recognized him until after, and I look it up and I'm like, oh, that's him. What the heck?
Like I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And even in this one, he does good. It's just he's not given much. And I feel like they're trying to kind of make him crazy, like Joaquin Phoenix's character. They're trying to. You're right. That's the thing. It's like I feel like they're trying to like Force Awakens this, right? Like. Because it's all like there's no besides Denzel Washington. Maybe that's why Denzel Washington stood out so much, because he's just different.
I like the rhino fight too. That one was pretty good with the like duelist guy. That was
interesting. They didn't actually ride rhinos and stuff back in the day, right?
I don't know. I'm like way more sure that they didn't bring sharks to Rome to put in the Coliseum. I don't know about rhinos, sure not.
But I think from what I was reading is maybe. Again, in the comments, if I'm totally wrong, I read this somewhere. I think they did fill the Coliseum with water sometimes, but there was never sharks.
Yeah,
and
that
also,
makes sense.
From what I've read, is they would bring like rhinos in, but they would never like ride rhinos and stuff.
Interesting, yeah.
But again, take that with a grain of salt. I read it like a few articles about it, so I don't know how accurate it is, but it does make sense. Like if you use rhinos, but you don't they're not riding them. In a shark thing, for sure, I can see that. But it was cool. Yeah. It looked cool.
Yeah,
it was terrifying.
I liked it. Yeah,
but those are positive. The Emperors were okay. I did think it was funny how the younger brother, after he killed his brother,
put the monkey.
He named the monkey as the first
consul. Yeah,
I was like,
so does that make the monkey emperor now?
Yeah, seriously.
That's Gladiator 3, actually, the reign of the monkey.
Well, that's actually funny, because technically, I guess yes, right?
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess you could argue Lucius, but
yeah,
I don't know if it's funny.
I wonder if they are going to do a Gladiator 3, or if they're going to leave it here.
I don't know. I kind of hope not, to be honest. Unless it's like something different. But I don't know, dude. Like I said, when I was watching it, I was enjoying it, but I also wasn't loving it. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely was comparing it a lot to the original, and it's not the same.
Oh, for sure. And if you start doing that immediately in a sequel, I feel like that's not a good thing. You have to differentiate yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I'm trying to think of a good sequel that does that. Like an unnecessary sequel, not like a Two Towers versus Fellowship of the Ring.
Right.
But I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, especially with such a long break in between. When that happens, it just feels like they're trying to recapture that magic.
Years.
Yeah,
that's true. What if in the comments if you know, like, what movie that waited 20 plus years for a sequel? What series is that sequel just as good of the original?
Yeah,
in a different
way.
It
lived up.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, it lived up to the hype of an original that's 20 plus years old. Maybe, actually, I thought of one. What's a good one? Is Top Gun. Do you see Top Gun Maverick?
I didn't see Maverick, but I've heard good things. Yeah, that is a good one.
Oh, you haven't seen Maverick? Oh, that's a must watch. You got to see that, dude.
Okay, yeah.
That's a great movie. Yeah, you got to watch that one. I think it's on Paramount or something.
Okay. Yeah, I do need to watch that one. But yeah, if there are any other, that's a good example. If there are any other ones, I'm sure they're out there. Let us know in the comments because I'd like to see those.
Because I feel like most of them aren't, or even sequels not 20 years apart. Like look at the Joker, that bombed.
Yeah.
But I will give the Joker. I never watched the Joker. I don't know if you saw the second one.
No.
I'll give it credit from an outside perspective. I mean, at least they did try something different.
Yeah, they did. That's true.
So like, I give them props for like trying something different, but they apparently massively failed at it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if like a musical is different for like a Joker movie.
Yeah, that was a weird choice.
And I like musicals, but like seeing the Joker as a musical, I don't know. But anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like the first one, I would say, honestly, if you don't care for going to theaters, you could wait till it's probably on whatever it goes on.
Yeah.
HBO Max, whatever.
Yeah. I saw it in IMAX and it was pretty cool in IMAX. Some of the scenes, like the opening battle and the couple of Coliseum battles we got, they were cool to see in IMAX, but I would agree. It could probably, it's not one of the must-sees of the year, that's for sure.
No, I don't think so either. That's pretty much all I had on Gladiator, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm looking over my notes, but I think we hit pretty much all. One last thing. What did you think of the baboon scene? Do you have any particular thoughts on that?
My particular thoughts on those baboons looked freaking wild, man. They look like zombies.
They did. That was weird to me, but yeah. I feel like that was probably the weakest of the action scenes, and the baboons looked kind of weird, definitely crazy.
They look like rabian-fused, like freaking monsters. I thought that was weird too. Yeah, not my favorite. Let's see.
Yeah.
Which that was towards the beginning, so.
It was, yep.
Well, yeah, because that was the whole reason why What's-His-Face wanted to buy him.
Yep, Macromus.
Denzel's character, yeah.
Lucius.
Yeah, Monkey Man or whatever, because he bit the monkey.
Yep. Okay, yeah, I think that was all I had on it. Gladiator 2. Decent, I had fun, but if you think about it too much, doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It was just